Hello my friends, for today's beer review we're going to be taking a look at Chimay Blue Label Grand Reserve, a Belgian dark strong ale. We have something pretty special for our review today. This is Chimay. Now, I don't know why this is. I don't live in the biggest town ever, but this is a pretty sought-after beer, and a lot of people have trouble finding it. But for some reason, we get so much Chimay here. All the different labels and all the different varieties. It's a pretty common beer around here, but I haven't reviewed it yet. I have had this beer once before, and I remember it being fantastic, and it is quite legendary. These are bottle re-fermenting beers, in that in the bottom of the bottle there's a very thick little caking of yeast, and this bottle continues to age and gain flavor and quality as it sits in the bottle. That being said, when you drink through the first half, if you're drinking this by yourself, it's going to taste a little bit differently from the second half. Now, I'm not going to sit here and drink this entire bottle on video because I'll probably be slurring by the end of it, but what you usually do is, if you're sharing it with somebody, which is what I would suggest normally, you'd pour off most of it, leave a little bit left in the bottle, swirl it to break up all that yeast, and then top off both glasses with that yeast-rich beer. And that's going to make it cloud up, gain different color, change the head color, the flavor. The flavor not so much, which is why I feel confident in giving it an accurate review, even without doing that. But something just to keep in mind if you decide to drink this, or really any bottled re-fermenting beer where there's yeast at the bottom. But anyway, this is Chimay Blue Label. They have red label, which is a double, their yellow label, which is a triple, and then you have the blue, or Grand Reserve, which is a Belgian dark strong ale. I have had the red, and I'm not a fan. I have a bottle of the yellow sitting in my cellar that I'm waiting to pull out for a special occasion. But this has so far been my favorite of the two that I've had, the red and the blue. Anyway, this says brewed at Squarmont Abbey and bottled by SA Beers de Chimay in Belgium. It is 9% alcohol by volume, so this is approaching a pretty big beer. You'll definitely be feeling it after a dose of it, and the whole bottle will probably get you pretty tipsy. On the back, it says, the registered trademark Trappist certifies that this ale was brewed within the walls of an existing Trappist monastery under the control of the Trappist community. A major part of the sales revenue is used by the monks to support charitable works. The exceptional yeast isolated by Father Theodore, combined with the purity of the highly protected water of the abbey's wells, gives Chimay its unique richness. Since 1862, Chimay's secondary fermented ales have neither been pasteurized nor filtered, and only natural ingredients are used to fully appreciate the strong character of the Chimay Grand Reserve. See vintage on cork. Serve slightly chilled in a wide-mouthed glass. And on the back it says, do not use straight-sided. Use a like a tulip glass or a chalice or an oversized wine glass. And it also says do not store it on its side. That's because it's bottle re-fermenting and all that yeast is going to fall over on the side, and it's just not good business to be doing it like that if you're going to store it and age it. So anyway, I think I've said my piece with this beer. So I'm actually going to be drinking this out of a Chimay branded beer chalice. What they really want you to be drinking it out of. Is it a little bit pretentious? Yeah, a little bit. You could probably drink it out of any type of goblet, wine glass, etc. But I just so happen to have one of these, so why not drink it out of what it's supposed to go in, or what they intended it to go in, right? Anyway, without further ado, we'll get the cork off of here and give it a smell and a taste and see what it's all about. It is a really high quality beer. Okay. They put their cages on a lot tighter than a lot of beers do, because these ferment so heavily in the bottle. That one was really ready to come out. Lots of smoke sitting here in the neck, as you can see. Whole lot of smoke in there. Alrighty, let's give it a pour. Straight out of the bottle. It's a nice orange kind of rust color. enough there easily for another glassful, if not more. Formed about a finger of extremely large, bubbled, soapy head. Head is not going to stick around very long. It's going to dissipate quite quickly. Up into the light, it is incredibly murky, hazy, unfiltered, dark mahogany brown. There's just so much little yeast and sediment floating around in this beer. 100% unfiltered, all natural, which means lots of flavor in this beer. Anyway, head is already dissipating down now just to a film, so let's give it a smell. Wow, it's really complex. There's lots of fruit and spice in this beer. There's a banana is actually a big one coming up front and forward is banana. Allspice, nutmeg, dark black cherry, lots of malt and hops, maybe a little bit of caramel also. Really good. Extremely complex aroma on this beer. Yeah, it's fantastic. Alright, let's give it a taste and see what Chimay Blue Label Grand Reserve is all about. Cheers, everybody. That is excellent. It's got malts. Honestly, I don't need to give you any complicated details here. It tastes identical to the aroma. Sweet up front, bitter in the back. It's got all the same fruits that I just listed off. Malty, really malty. And one thing to point out is that the way these beers are carbonated, they almost drink like champagne or soda. Even though the head didn't really stick around very long, they're very, very bubbly and carbonated. That's just how Belgian beers are. And that's due in part to the fact that it keeps fermenting and building that carbonation up in the beer while it sits in the bottle, which is something kind of interesting if you run across a bottle of Chimay or something similar in a liquor store. A lot of times they won't really know, and they'll put it on sale because it's been sitting for so long and they think it's expired or past the bottling date, when really that means it's getting better and better and better. So if you find an old bottle of Chimay that they tell you is expired or something, buy it. Maybe not true for all beers like IPAs or something, but in this sense, definitely give it a shot. Anyway, I think what I'm going to do is let this beer warm up a little bit just to give you a more accurate representation, because it does say to drink it just slightly chilled, and this is straight out of the refrigerator, and come back and give you my final opinion on it. Be right back. Okay, it has been a good 15 to 20 minutes, and the beer does have just a slight chill, so let's give it another smell now. Much, much larger on the yeast, the malt, the fruits. Everything's just kind of brightened and opened up a little bit more, but let's give it a taste again. It's really good. Basically, whenever you have things like Belgians and stouts ice cold, they have a metallic taste to them sometimes, and that has nothing to do, and it's not due in part to the quality of the beer or the beer being bad normally. It's because it's ice cold. I've just noticed that myself. You usually don't want to drink these beers ice cold because they will taste metallic. You'll get the wrong impression. That's why a lot of them straight on the bottle say, hey, just drink this slightly chilled. Don't drink it ice cold. And that's no different with this beer. It tastes so much better now that it's warmed up. It's got Dark cherries, almost to the point of a wine taste. Caramel. Yeast, malt. It's really, really fantastic beer. Very heavy and dark. The main thing are these kind of cherry wine sort of notes that come out in these beers. And that's probably the best part. So, what's the rating going to be? Well, it should be pretty obvious. This is a 10, a 5 out of 5, 100 out of 100. It is an absolutely amazing Belgian-style ale. Probably makes it on my top 5. Now, for me personally, I kind of categorize a lot of the dark Belgian-style ales together. I know you also have the light ones, such as like Duvel or Perrot, that's an IPA, Golden Drac, things like that. As far as dark Belgian ales are concerned, Chimay Grand Reserve Blue Label makes it on my top 5 list. Probably like my favorite, no joke. But anyway, that has been Chimay Grand Reserve Blue Label. Hope you guys enjoyed it as always, and stay tuned for the next one.